I also hope no mosquitoes are gonna eat me today, but who knows? Maybe they will. Your girl is on holiday, so this is the perfect time to talk about 1830s fashion. When you're in the middle of heat wave, because it is all about undergarments, and there are a lot of them happening in 1830s. You're talking about sleeve puffs, you're talking about chemises, you're talking about stays. The most important things about 1830s is the humongous sleeves. You have very large sleeves, especially early 1830s. That's what I am looking for. I wanted to create a special chemise just because I wanted that little ruffle thing going on, and I really loved the ruffle thing going on that was happening at a movie, Emily. And also when it comes to 1830s, you have a dropped shoulder neckline. I really wanted that little cool ruffle that would peek from the top of the dress. I'm starting this project with the chemise. I've decided to use a lightweight cotton fabric. First things first, I am preparing all the pattern pieces for the chemise. For the chemise and the sleeve puffs, I am using black snail pattern. Now that the pattern pieces have been cut, I am preparing a vent for the front closure of the chemise, and then I am binding it with a 2-inch strip fabric. Then I'm connecting everything together with the pins, and then I'm sewing it all around to then further encase everything together so that there are no raw edges. Now I'm working for the top details of the chemise. This is where the fun frills are gonna be, and I'm connecting all the pieces together. To create the frill, I've decided to use a more lightweight fabric than the chemise itself because I wanted it to be more see-through, and I have sewn all the raw edges of that long strip, and then I have sewn the gathering stitches to gather it twice. I'm then connecting the frills with the top of the chemise, and then connecting all with pins, and then sewing it all together. This is how the top of the chemise is going to look like with the frills ready, and now it is time to connect the top with the rest of the bottom. For connecting the top with the bottom, I will need to gather all the bottom pieces together. So basically I'm gathering where the vent opening is, so the front of the chemise and then also the back of the chemise. Everything is going to be gathered with the gathering stitch, and for the gathering stitch I'm just going with the longest stitch that I have and then the highest tension I have. This does the job very well. The gathering stitches did tension the fabric very well, but now I need to loosen a bit of tension to make sure that the fabric actually fits where the top bit of the chemise is, making sure that all the gathers are dispersed nicely throughout the fabric. And then I'm pinning everything very nicely and sewing it all together. And now it is time to connect the top piece with the bottom pieces of the chemise. The back lower part of the chemise is connected with the back higher part of the chemise. And now I'm connecting the front pieces all together. Again, making sure that all the gathers are dispersed nicely through the whole area of the top bit of the chemise. This is me trying on the chemise. It's pretty much done, except the side seams are not yet connected. As sleeves are not connected, it looks like it's supposed to be. This is pretty much the finished product. Now I'm working on the sleeves. The sleeves are very simple here. They're just 2 rectangles. And first things first, I am going to sew 2 rows of gathering stitches. Same method as previously. I'm using a long stitch and I am using the highest tension I have, and it does the job. Now I'm connecting the sleeves to the top part of the chemise where the fun ruffles are, and I am sewing everything together. This chemise is so much more fun than the previous chemise because there is just so much gathering happening. There is just everywhere you look, gathers. It gathers here and the gathers there. And then the second sleeve also gonna get some gathers. And we are just drowning in gathers, but it is so fun. And this is the second sleeve attached. I have also connected the side seams of the chemise and I have started cutting the pattern pieces from the leftover fabric that I have that is a bit of a heavier cotton for the sleeve puffs. And sleeve puffs I pretty much just use whatever fabric I had on stash, just wanted to use everything. And sleeve puffs are again very simple. They're just simple rectangles and they also look like croissants. I just cannot unsee it anymore because this is just so fun. Sleeve puffs are gathered, 2 rows at the top and the bottom, and then they're connected to the ungathered rectangle. Because I've sewn it on the right sides together, now I'm turning it to the right side and I am using whatever leftover fabric I have to stuff them. I did not have enough, so I had to cut a lot of waste fabric or some kind of smaller, bigger pieces to fit, and it still wasn't enough. And actually I'm planning to redo it and stuff it more because it was not voluminous enough. As you can see, I'm trying to use all the previous projects. This fabric is actually from my first Regency dress and I'm stuffing it into this new garment, into the sleeve puffs, into very fun little things that remind me of a croissant. Now this is the finished chemise done, and it is not ironed whatsoever because I have been using it actually for a while. This was actually a very fast project that I needed to do. I did not take a lot of time and caution to create this chemise, but at the end of the day it does the job. And the sleeve puffs also doing the job. I have connected a little strings so that they are attached to the actual dress so that they are in place.
You can create 1830 sleeve puffs if you're on holiday, if you have these like little safety swimming puffy thingies on your sleeve. What? They kind of look like biceps, and actually sleeve puffs also look literally the same, but they're not stuffed with air, they're stuffed with stuff. And I feel like they might work also if you're on scrunch time.
If you want to see the comparison between before sleeve puff and all the undergarments and after, this is the before. This is no undergarments whatsoever. I literally just wore the dress
on top of nothing. There was nothing underneath. And this is how the 1830s dress would look like when you have the sleeve puffs, when you have the chemise, when you have stays. Stay tuned for how I created the stays because they're just gorgeous. After also the petticoats, because there are so many petticoats, also stay tuned for the petticoats, but it just looks so much better. You are in character. The sleeves are sleeving. I love how puffy they are, and I want to make them even puffier. As I said, I want to revise the puffs and make them puffier because 1830s are famous for their humongous sleeves and also skirts. I want to look like a doll. This was the whole point of 1830s. You wanted to look like a doll. You wanted to look dramatic as ever. If you like this kind of video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And in the next one, I will be making stays, of course. And I will see you in my next one. And of course, this is my holiday LZ, but she has to do some worky work because she didn't have any time left to do any intros or outros. So I hope you like it. And also I really love Emily Brontë and I'm just so excited that I created this gown. Also I found there is like a pomegranate tree here. How cool is that? This is such a Greek thing. Hi, it's your girl, and if you would love to support me, you can always go and watch more of my videos right here, and I will see you in my next one. Bye everyone.